in the end. Right, anyway, you guys can now go have your little fun, can't you? Oh, fuck off. Right, good luck then for the last 5 minutes of qualifying. I'll be back literally straight after. Bye-bye. You bellend? I wasn't deafened. I wasn't belling you. Coincidence. Yeah, but yeah, funny, Ben. It's funny that I mute first. I always mute first and wait a couple of seconds. Right now, I'm fucking off. Bye. Oh, fucking Lord. Apologies after that hectic first start. Well, I got the stream up, finally. Only took half of qualifying. Well, no, not even half of it, most of it. Well, good evening. From about 3 minutes and 40 seconds. Yeah, well, I've only just started because it was all not working. TB Frisco said that he hates me. I think I might be getting sacked, everyone. Amazing shit. Anyway, I need to go get the stream. Well, yeah, keep it muted. Keep it muted. I don't want to hear my voice. Yeah, that's good. Wrong fucking server. Well, yeah, shocker. I've somehow got it working. Hoping I couldn't get it working, though. Yes, I want to send the message to over about God knows how many people. Right. So, we got to start qualifying, basically. Oh, no, we don't. So, we're finally, after about, the most of qualifying, we can now finally get down to business. So, we got 2.5 minutes remaining here in qualifying around Singapore for round 6. So, not much left, so I've got a lot of action. By the looks, Charlie Kirk letting all the other drivers through. Very nice gentleman, and very good indeed. And by the looks, that is Seb Gaming out in front. Currently, going to be the car with the massive advantage here, unless he lets Dean through. So, he could let Dean through, but, you know, God knows. And I'm back, finally, after one round. I don't think anyone cares. I was ill last week severely. Yeah. Well, no, this week. So, yeah. It got worse, so yeah. That's why I didn't commentate. But I'm back. Shame we don't have a race on April Fools. I'd love to say that I'm not going to be here on April Fools, and then I come back and then say April Fools. Maybe if it ever lands on a Sunday. You know what? We'll check. Does Revline land on Sunday this week? Not this, you know. Anyway, though. Charlie Kirk now, not Charlie Kirk, Seb Gaming rounds the final corner now to begin his, for me, watching him do his first flying lap, and now final flying lap for him. So through turn 1 we go, the first 3 corners, nothing too special. Keeping it nice, not taking too much curb on exit. He's only got a 31.8, and there are still other drivers who could possibly go quicker. By the looks, Dean and Charlie Kirk have been on their laps, and so's Harry. And now Zach, finally after having a funny visual glitch of him being stuck in the pits, he's now on track for me. So, 81 thousandths of a second, current improvement for Seb Gaming, currently in P11. He's still got a lot of work to do if he's going to get anywhere close to Charlie Kirk here. He needs a good 7.5 tenths if he wants to qualify within the top 10 here. By the looks, we can just see Ben on the mini-map going slow. So it'll be very interesting to see these final results and who can take pole. Zach, by the looks, the only driver here to have not taken pole yet. And someone has stopped at turn 1. I have no clue who that is. But we'll have to get someone to clip it and maybe see after the race. But Seb Gaming now in the third and final sector here at Singapore. I was commentating this race last night. I have the checkered flags being waved, and by the looks, we got more yellow flags. No clue who that is. I'll have to definitely get someone to check for me. But to the line now, he's basically 4/10 off. Dean goes quickest with a 28-1. So he's only gone, what, 11,000, no, only 9,000 of a second quicker than Harrison. But again, Harrison's invalidated. Harrison has invalidated. So, possibly going for pole, now invalidated. So, we're going to go and watch F1 fan Charlie Kirk keeping it within the top 10. And F1 fan now has only got 1 sec to go. I don't know if he was up or not, but it's all going to have to be a push now. Straight to the line here for F1 fan. With another dosage with the DRS once again. Lots of people retiring now, thinking this is going to be their best. And by the looks, debris there. F1 fan just touching it a little bit. So 1 corner now for F1 fan. He's going to have a DRS on exit. What's it going to be for him? Oh, he's not good enough and he can't improve. So by the looks, it might have been the Williams there of Polly. By the looks, I think that is... Oh, no, it's not. You got the Aston still. To the line. I don't know what that was, but Dean takes pole here. For the final couple of minutes that I'm here, Dean takes pole position here at Singapore. Amazing stuff. Gotta love it when Dean's on pole. Right, oh my lord, so Dean only snatching pole by 9,000ths of a second. So, we shall be back momentarily for the main race. As I am finally back about that. So, there's a formation lap, and by what I just heard from F1 fan, he's going to go quickly to the toilet on this formation lap, so he's lucky. So, here we go then, formation lap here at Singapore for round 6. It's going to be 1 lap of the circuit for the drivers to warm their tyres up, and then it'll be getting straight going. By the looks, Harrison jumping Dean now already on this formation lap, so we don't know, but Zach's already been disqualified. I'm guessing he's probably just hit the rear of F1 fan or Polly. But then, but Polly's also behind CB Frisco. Is he? Oh no, he's let CB, unless I don't know. By the looks, people are just laying each other through, so Dean, starting on those medium compound tyres, gives us a little chance to see what tyres people are on. So everyone is playing on the mediums but Harrison, who's on the hard compound tyres. So, after an annoying invalidation in qualifying, Harrison's going to hopefully bring something back in the race. Well, he's going to hope he can, because that was good. He could have got it into a 27 there from what he told me. But he obviously didn't. And Dean going into the wall. Well done. It's only the formation that, Dean. Don't have to start practicing your crashes. So, we shall see then who can get the start right and who's going to park it to perfection. This should be very, very interesting. So, Dean then, in a couple of corners' time, will be lining up on the grid in the first part of the grid, and you're going to go on, you know what, we'll go on board, and we'll watch Dean just pass Zach on the grid. How lovely. Oh, doing a little burnout. Harrison absolutely just zooming past. And Dean, warming his tyres up very nicely. So we'll go on board with Polly so we can get a better angle of Zach. So you see what it looks like. But by the looks, not be anything too bad. Yeah, we can just see Zach right there. So by the looks, he's just getting closer. Oh no, Polly's in. Oh man. By the looks, Dean has parked it really high up, but Harrison as well, parking as well. So we're now. Oh, Seb Gaming also getting disqualified. So here we go then. Whenever we get the 5 red lights. So here we go then. 5 lights ahead of the drivers here for round 6 of Revline. And we're off. Here, by the looks, Harrison getting a somewhat decent start there on Dean in the run to turn 1 already. Dean's already getting under pressure by Harrison. They're going to go side by side. Dean taking the lead and sticking that lead already through turn 1 under pressure by Harrison. But F1 fan is putting the pressure straight onto Harrison now. But Zach's all over the back of F1 fan as well on this start already. TB Frisco in the top 5, but again, there's lots of pressure, and we've had yellow flags by the looks. It is Seb Gaming in the barrier, and he's got front wing damage, so he's now going to probably have to box. He's got no front wing whatsoever. So Dean leads on lap 1 here, but Harrison's already putting him under immense pressure on those hard compound tyres here. So Harrison has a chance here to overtake Dean when we get DRS next lap. So the question's going to be, how long can Dean fend Harrison off? Harrison's obviously going to have that disadvantage of grip on the hard compound tyres, but Dean, his tyres are probably going to go even quicker. But F1 fan already having a little sniff on Harrison on board. Yellow flags again for Seb Gaming. So by the looks, he's probably had something going on. The gap's still very close and compact down as Harry has dropped to P8. Oh lord, that seems really realistic. So the following order, Dean still leading on lap 1 here, as now things are going to get very, very interesting here as we now come on to lap 2, as now the Dean, currently still leading, is now going to be under pressure and under severe threat here, as by the looks, as Polly having a moment through the final corner. So now, as I was saying, the threat is on. It is going to be Dean versus Harrison, and Harrison seems to already be putting immense pressure on Dean, and he's closer on Dean, and he's already going to be attacking, making the move. Yawn and Harry are going to be going at each other as well, and seems to be Yawn has fended Harry off, but can Harry go around the outside of Yawn or do anything to Yawn? But so by the looks, around the outside for him, there's leaving no room whatsoever. And I think Harry's finally got on the move. Yes, he has. Harry now moving into P6 as Harrison taking the lead off of Dean. As by the looks, the McLarens of Matt and Cooking are going at each other. But as well, Harry and Yawn are going at each other. And Yawn has been crashed out by Harry. What the hell? Yawn has been crashed out by Harry on lap 2. Near the same part, I saw someone clip the wall yesterday. Oh my lord. So Harry, after having an immense fight with Yawn, has put Yawn into the barrier. What the fuck is all I've got to say. I don't think Yawn's going to be too happy about that one. Oh lord. Oh. So, Zach taking fastest lap out of everyone, and by the looks, is putting pressure on F1 fan, but again, he's under pressure. The top 5 here, all separated, and all within DRS range. So, Harrison, after taking the lead on Dean from last lap, is going to try now to extend his gap, but we won't probably have many moves made here now. Polly in the pit lane. So, an early DNF on for Yawn. And now, under pressure, TB Frisco is going to go down the inside there on Zach. Amazing move there, but Zach is going to fight this one back by the looks. Oh no, he backs off. Zach backing off by the looks. And that has dropped TB Frisco and Zach there by the looks. Oh, we got fighting on back here as well. Charlie, Kirk and Matt going at each other Oh, but Charlie Kirk's got wing damage. That's not going to be too great for his race at all. So, we're going to cut back to the front, and by the looks, TB Frisco has caught the front runners, but Dean just cannot get any closer to Harrison at the moment. Again, that dirty air is also very crucial around here, so that he might have the difficulty of the dirty air, but he's under pressure from his teammate, and by the looks, F1 Fan seems to be quicker than Dean. So, can F1 Fan get remotely close to his teammate, or even try and attempt an overtake here on lap 4 when they come onto it in a moment's time? But by the looks, the pressure's on, and so we've just missed Matt sending a move on Harry there, but Harry's not going to fight this one back as Dean getting overtaken by F1 Fan. They might have swapped positions there, but we don't know. We'll cut back onto the main straight to see if this fight can still continue with Harry versus Matt, but by the looks, it won't. But we can see Chazza and Cool Kitch going at each other, but Cool Kitch has got front wing damage. And by the looks now, F1 Fan is now out of the DRS range and will now be the driver at threat unless F1 Fan can finally and try piece something through together, just absolutely placing his car to perfection. So, F1 Fan, he's going to need a miracle here, and he's going to need something very soon, because again, he's got a lot to do. Charlie Kirk and Cook and Kitch are going at each other, and Charlie Kirk once again taking P8. Amazing stuff there for him. So Harrison's going over the bridge now, run to the hairpin. Oh, having a little slide there by the looks. But that isn't going to stop him as he's 1.1 away from F1 Fan, who is still under DRS threat of Dean, TB Frisco, and Zach. So unless one of these three can do something to overtake F1 Fan, the fights will still continue with the top 5 here, but only going to second, as by the looks, Harrison, he's just again playing it safe with the DRS threat, and by the looks, Zach is severely gaining on TB Frisco there, coming through that final section, so Zach could have an amazing run here, but again, TB Frisco has got the DRS, and by the looks as well, F1 Fan has got the DRS, if I am not being schizo, which I wouldn't be surprised if I was. So F1 Fan, he's back within DRS range now of Harrison, who probably is just trying to nurse those tyres now to the first pit stop phase, but F1 Fan is going to want to try and get that early on lead and get the clean air, but F1 Fan, again, even though he's at the DRS, he was still close enough into the DRS detection zone, so they're all back within fighting range of each other once again. So if F1 Fan can now try and find some pace around here, he can have a possible chance of fighting Harrison here for the lead. But by the looks, he's also pulling from his teammate. So by the looks now, F1 Fan will begin his charge on Harrison. But that's if Harrison isn't pushing. Because again, Harrison doesn't like to push too much unless he's really under severe threat. But that severe threat is coming back once again. 8/10. So he's just within the DRS range, and Harrison there really trying to use and maximise track usage there to get a lot of rotation at the hairpin. F1 Fan, Dean, TB Frisco, and Zach all with the DRS once again. And they'll have another dosage of it now. So if F1 Fan can maybe start to gain a little bit more, he might have a little chance here. But again, the gap keeps extending, and it could be very difficult for F1 Fan if he cannot do something very shortly. I was surprised we didn't get a safety car for Yon's incident. But we will see, because there's still possible chance of a safety car. So F1 Fan on lap 6, as we now enter lap 6, he's still within DRS range as TB Frisco gets a 3-second penalty from, by the looks, track violations there. So ain't going to be good on his end. So couple of early boxes, as we can see. So, can they try and do anything? But by the looks, F1 Fan's pushed his teammate out of DRS range, and F1 Fan can now begin the fight here on Harrison. But by the looks, lost for words there, because I saw TB Frisco and Dina going at each other here in the background. Can TB Frisco find a way past his old rival for the championship last season? These two are always keen to having a good scrap, and around here it's difficult. Zach getting a 3-second penalty and also looking like he's tacking. Charlie Kirk as well is also under pressure, and he's in the barrier as well. with Cooking Kitch. Him and Charlie Kirk are in the barrier, but with some great sportsmanship. Cooking Kitch letting Charlie Kirk have the place once again, but Zach down the inside there for Zach on, by the looks, on TB Frisco, but he lost the positioning again. So Dean now being the one vulnerable, and F1 fan taking lead here on lap 6 out of 31 here at Singapore tonight. So there is really some action here tonight, and F1 fan still does have the pace here to attack others. But as they now come onto the main straight to start lap 7, Harrison is already putting F1 fan under pressure. Into turn 1 we go. Harrison dives down the inside and takes the lead. But Dean as well, just only staying ahead, so he's still got that gap and he's still got the advantage. But F1 fan now, he's now going to redo what he's just done. I once again on Harrison to have a single chance of trying to attack Harrison. He doesn't want to use it and use all that rubber early on, but he might have to if he wants some clean air and he wants a nice advantage out on front. And Harry Bottleton gets a 3-second penalty in prime Harry fashion. You're gonna love it. So Harry's proving why he's a bottler and why Sauber just will lose to constructors this season. Continues on. An F1 fan having a minor moment there. The gap starts to extend, going across the bridge here at Singapore as they reach the hairpin now. An F1 fan, he's not gone too close to Harrison, but he's got another dosage of DRS. So the fight will continue out front. By the looks, that's Charlie Kirk. No, Charlie Kirk's in the barrier. You can see the leaders in the background, and you can see Zach also trying to apply some pressure on TB Frisco there. It's by the looks. We'll go on board with him now. Pressure looks like a lot for him. But the question is going to be, how close can Zach get to attacking TB Frisco before TB Frisco has a chance on Dean? But by the looks, TB Frisco is going to have a chance on Dean here, coming onto the main straight. 5/10 separate these guys. And again, Dean is going to be vulnerable because he doesn't have the DRS, and neither does F1 fan anymore. Just only coming out of that DRS range. So Dean taking pole and now dropping down to P3. So Dean's still got a lot of work in his hands if he is going to have any chance of converting that pole into a win. But again, he only got that pole by 9 thousandths. So, and again, it was a stride of luck for Dean. So he's going to be under pressure. But here we go though, TB Frisco. I don't know if he's burning, but by the looks, he's getting closer to Dean. But he's just not that ever so close enough yet. And Zach as well. He gets front row seats to watching Dean versus TB Frisco. So as they scrap, Polly and Charlie as well. Oh, Charlie jumping in the pits there. So Harrison taking an early lead on, nearly of 2 seconds. F1 fans nearly got 2 seconds to himself, and to Harrison, and then to his teammate Dean. But again, Dean's under pressure, and Zach's got 100% put TB Frisco under some severe pressure. Look how close he's getting. Oh no! Oh man. That's not good. Well, you're still in P10, and like I said, I'll blast Charlie Kirk again at the end of the stream if you do that. Come on, I'll even get it ready. So, the fight's still continuing out front, and nothing much yet. By the looks, Dean is holding them at bay, and TB Frisco, again, he's closer now on this attempt, and so is Zach. So he's probably going to have a little attempt here, but by the looks, they're both burning. Zach's running out, and by the looks, that's Polly. Polly has had a somewhat incident, as by the looks, we just missed. F1 fans spun at turn 1. We've missed 2 things. Polly retiring, and F1 fans spinning at turn 1. So now Harrison now has a 4.5 second lead, but finally Zach, he's near the point. He's near the podium. So there could be a chance of a Zach on the podium today, which would be very amazing. As he's known as the terrorist, which we all love to know and see him as. He's putting some severe pressure on one of the championship contenders for this season. But by the looks, I don't know if that'll be happening, and with this absolute domination we're seeing from Harrison so far. So, as Harrison proceeds to fuck off into the distance, we now... Oh, by the looks, that's Seb Gaming getting lapped there. By Harrison. So, Harrison already early on lapping. Dean's going to have a little advantage of the DRS here if he can get close enough to Seb Gaming, but that's only if. So, Zach, again, he's not close enough, but he might want to get close enough soon. But he's going to need to pray that Ben does not get the DRS if he's going to have a single chance of landing on that podium here tonight at Singapore. But hey, there's still lots of time left in the race. As by the looks, Harrison early on in the pits here, boxing on lap 10 of 31. So, let's see, there's no wild JSM in the pit lane. Just by the looks, it wasn't great stop, but it was a certain decently enough stop. So blue flags there as Dean has been, by the looks, I don't know if Dean has got the DRS there off of the lapped car, but he possibly might have. We'll see now. No, he hasn't. So now TB Frisco can now start to attack Dean on this straight, and we can see Zach now in the podium positioning. Zach and Matt, not Zach, no, Harry and Matt, I mean, both in the pits as well, diving on to a new fresh set of mediums and hards. And Harrison as well, diving on to the set of the medium compound tyres as well. So hopefully, Harrison can now start to make some ground up. So by the looks, Harrison's going to probably be doing another stop, unless rain has been forecast, which I don't know if it has. Because again, I have no clue. So, potential guesses, but there's no clouds because it's night. So by the looks, Harrison taking a gamble here on the mediums on lap 10 of 31. So Dean leading now, only by 5/10 though, because he's under pressure with TB Frisco and Zach Hot Rod. So whatever will he be able to do? He's still got 6/10, and mind you, they've both got 3 seconds. As by the looks out, I apologise for missing that. TB Frisco out of the final corner now. As again, I missed that once again. I sincerely apologise for that. Dean takes the lead back here on lap 11, but he's going to be under pressure again by TB Frisco, and F1 fan now diving into the pit lane. So Harrison will be catching them rapidly because he's obviously on those new tyres. So the question's going to be, when is the top 3 going to be boxing? They've still got a lot of time, but Harrison's really beginning to cut time out of them now. He's already cut a second and a half out of the top 3. As by the looks, TB Frisco having a minor moment there. So now that gives Zach a nice run on him through the next couple of corners. So if Zach can just stay close enough with the dirty air, he might only just make a move on TB Frisco here on the next straight. But he's getting closer, and Ben is out the DRS. So can TB Frisco possibly be losing P2 here? And by the looks, it's going to be possible now, because Zach's might have a chance here. Second separate him and Dean. But Zach's still trying to fight here. Is TB Frisco going to get the DRS now? He doesn't get the DRS again. So he's just dropped out the DRS a bit, which has given Zach a moment to attack, but Zach hasn't taken the moment. Or by the looks, he just hasn't had the pace. So Harrison already, he's cut 3 seconds out of them this lap, and probably will be 4 by the time all 3 of them have reached the line. As by the looks there, TB Frisco now diving into the pit lane, so he's going to try and have an attempt on undercutting Dean early on. But we'll see though moving on later. Well, we'll have to see later on moving. As by the looks, again, Matt getting another 3-second penalty for track limits. That's not too good, but he is in P7. Harrison taking the fastest lap of a 31.344. Amazing stuff there. So being a couple of the qualifying times we saw who were people at the back of the grid. So Zach, he's not within DRS range, but he's under severe threat though. As by the looks, Ben has undercut F1 fan. No, not undercut, overcut F1 fan. So Ben, overcutting F1 fan now on those hards, can now just push on. So he's going to have, again, the tyre advantage here. Only of 1 lap though, so again, a lot can happen still. So, but F1 fan's getting close, and he is now within the DRS range. But we can also see Matt making a move on his teammate there. As they run now to the end of Sector 1, Matt takes P6 from his teammate. But again, Matt's got penalties, so his teammate can try to stay close, but we've still got a long way to go in this race. So, but what a move from Matt there, outspeeding his teammate on that straight. Fares from Matt. So F1 fan, he now begins to see if he can get closer to TB Frisco here. F1 fan, his tyres are warmer, but Ben's are going to be colder. So TB Frisco is going to be severely under threat now, unless he can get those tyres warmed up really quickly. But F1 fan is probably warming his tyres up still. But F1 fan, he's getting closer, but he also isn't getting closer as well. He seems to be getting within the DRS, and then he's losing, but he's gained a little bit here. Let's not jinx it now, but he's getting really close to the wall again, maximising track usage to his maximum, taking more curb than Ben. And by the looks, yes, he is now within DRS range. So F1 fan could be attacking TB Frisco here on this lap, but he's gained severely here. So through the first 3 corners here at Singapore, F1 fan is that ever bit so closer to TB Frisco. So, TB Frisco now is going to be under severe threat on these next couple of straights, so he's going to have to burn what he can. F1 fan opening the DRS now. Half a second separates these two. So, can F1 fan make a move at the end of the straight? No, he can't. Gets close, but he's just not close enough. So, now F1 fan is going to be still trying to attempt to fight Ben and staying close enough and trying to keep within that DRS as well. So, very interesting tactics here from F1 fan, and he's severely gaining here on TB Frisco on these near mid-race stage. So, a lot of work to do, and we're near half-race distance. So, lots of drive. These again, a couple of most of the grid have boxed, but Dean and Zach have chosen to stay out. And by the looks, Harrison has really gained here on Zach. But by the looks, that is Zach going into the pits now, and Dean continues to lead. So by the looks, Dean is trying to go as long as he can as Charlie Kirk gets another 3-second time penalty for multiple track violations. So Zach now into the pits. We'll watch this quickly because there isn't really much action to watch out on track. Not a bad pit stop from him. So we'll now jump back onto the main straight, and F1 fan again, ever a little bit so closer. And by the looks, TB Frisco overcutting Zach once again. So, and Seb Gaming getting a 3-second penalty. Matt as well in P5 now. So, but I don't know if he undercut Zach or not. But F1 fan now back up in the podium positionings and lapping Seb Gaming. So F1 fan, again, he's going to have a little smooth move, and he's going to try the dummy on TB Frisco, but it's not going to stop TB Frisco. And F1 fan still has to settle for P4. But Harrison, he's still gaining on Dean. So I would say within the next couple of laps, we're probably going to see these two changing over the lead of the race. But Ben, he's still got a lot of work to do, and he's only got 0.6 to F1 fan, who, by the looks, is slowly catching him, but also slowly losing time at certain parts of the racetrack. So, what is F1 fan going to have to... F1 fan's got to try and do something very soon, otherwise he will be stuck behind TB Frisco, and that will give TB Frisco a massive advantage for others, but as well, hold TB Frisco up as well of having a chance to try score a decent result today and get as many points as he can. Dean dives into the pits now, and Harrison takes lead here on lap 15 at 31. So we're near half race distance. No, we're basically at half race distance because it's an odd number. And now Dean, as we're going to see, Ben has undercut Dean. So he's undercut Dean, and Dean now, where's Dean going to be coming out of? By the looks, he's just going to be coming out behind on Matt. But Zach, he has not done anything during this pit stop phase by boxing that one little lap earlier. So he still sticks behind Dean. But here we go. But the fight at the front still continues for the final podium. Well, no, for P2 here. F1 fan and Ben still scrapping here on lap 15. Nothing much at the minute, but Zach is also very close on Dean. We'll have to keep an eye on that gap as well, because that seems to be very, very exciting, hopefully. As by the looks, that's Seb Gaming off. Yeah, that is Seb Gaming off once again, and basically now being lapped nearly by the whole grid. Only 2 cars left until he's fully lapped by the whole grid. So, F1 fan dropping down now to 0.8 on TB Frisco on this straight. So can F1 fan try gain back on TB Frisco? But it's not enough. He's only gained a tenth on that straight, and he's lost that time he's gained. So by the looks, TB Frisco's pulling, but he's also, in this process as well, I think, partially gaining a bit of time on Harrison here. So, but again, Harrison is on that medium compound tyre, and Ben's tyres are going to be good at lasting longer. So, lap 16 of 31, F1 fans still attempting to have a good fight here. But by the looks, Zach is going to be putting some good pressure on Dean here. But Dean's also going to be putting the pressure on Matt here at the front. Now, this is for P4 here. So, 3 cars and only 1 can finish in this position. So, now we will let these guys go absolutely scrap here. F1 fan is just fighting to stay within the DRS range as he just still sticks. Probably with having the DRS on Ben, but now as they enter the next straight, Dean is again ever bit so much more closer to Matt. So 2.5 tenths, a tenth and a half, as they're going to go side by side, and Matt is just turned in there, but he hasn't given himself a nice advantage. He's given Dean and Zach a nice advantage, and him the massive disadvantage here. So Zach dropping. Well, no, not Zach. Matt dropping from P4 to P6 there from one silly move. So I don't think Dean is going to be too happy about that at all. And is going to have to try and see what he can get done after the race. But he's still got time to make up in this race, and he's only 9 seconds behind F1 fan. And his teammate F1 fan as well, is also still within DRS range. But Zach as well, he's having a little charge here on Dean. So can Zach start to do anything on Dean and try and ruin Dean's race anymore by overtaking him at some point? But we are only on lap 17 now, and these guys will only be going on. Well, no, these guys are only on laps. Oh no, wait, hold on. No, as these guys are going to be going on to lap 17 now. Apologies. Zach is again will be gaining, but he won't have gained enough. He tries to attempt the dummy, but then stops and sticks on the apex. So following the optimal line still, he does. He now continues to hunt down Dean here for P4. But they've now got half the race to go. And by the looks, that's going to be Seb Gaming getting lapped by Cook and Kitch. So he's getting closer to lapping. He's going to have to give position soon. But Zach is still attacking Dean. And by the looks, these two might possibly be trying to work together here to try catch the final podium sitters. Because again, they can still finish on... One of them can still finish on the podium here. But they've still got to gain. And Seb Gaming gets a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. And someone else to get a penalty as well. Harrison now getting a 3-second penalty for track violations as well. So... But I mean, that's all good on Harrison because he's got 10-second gap, so he's all fine still. As by the looks, Harrison gets a 10-second penalty! 10-second penalty for speeding in the pits there. So Harrison, by the looks, now going onto the hard compound tyres and doing the 2-star. So Harrison speeding now into the pit. It's now going to be a race to see if Zach and Dean can get ahead of him here. But again, they're getting close. As by the looks, it's just been done and they're going to have a nice gap. But can Matt do anything? As Matt as well. Oh, but by the looks, Harrison being a little cheeky there and cutting the pit exit white line there. So I don't think that's going to be allowed. And I will definitely... being a little cheeky bugger and reporting that myself. But now TB Frisco leads here at Singapore on lap 18 of 31. So an early lead there for him. And he's, well, not early lead, quite late lead there for him, I mean. So again, with that 1 lap tyre advantage, he's going to be trying to make sure he can get the pressure away from F1 fan, but F1 fan probably won't be allowing that and will now be starting to push. So Harrison, he's going to already be putting Matt under some severe pressure here, but Matt is going to have to back off there and stick that one out. So Harrison now moving back up into the top 5. He's got a lot of work to do now within these remaining laps. He's got 13 seconds worth of penalties, so I don't think that's going to be good. But Zach and Dean are still going to be going at each other for the final podium positioning here. So... Zach's tyres are 1 lap older and Dean's going to again have that advantage. We see Seb Gaming just out in front. So Zach's teammate getting lapped again by a lot of people, as F1 fan now gets a 3-second penalty for multiple track violations. So, but by the looks, Dean has been catching. He is hunting him down very quickly. So can Dean maybe catch F1 fan before these closing stages, or can F1 fan take the lead and hold up TB Frisco here? Because again, TB Frisco needs every single point he can score in this championship. He's currently second, and he can still make a comeback, but he's got a lot to do now. So, as they now begin, we reach lap 19. TB Frisco still having a lead, and he's extended his leading gap by a little bit. And F1 fan has had a bit of time taken out of him by his teammate Dean. So, Dean and Zach, by the looks here, trying to work together, and Zach is probably trying to stay within that DRS range so he can still gain with Dean and still find some advantage. But by the looks, Seb Gaming once again, he's absolutely getting closer. They're getting closer to Seb Gaming, so he's going to have to try and move out the way eventually, because again, he can't stay ahead of them. He has to let them through, because now blue flags obviously are now being waved. By the looks, he's giving Dean the DRS, so yeah, now he might let Dean through. Yes, he now does let Dean through, and now does oblige to the blue flags. But they're still continuing on hunting, and they have cut a lot of time now out of F1 fan, and F1 fan has backed off. So by the looks now, Dean's massive tyre advantage on F1 fan is now starting to go out and has been thrown out the window. So Dean now, he's gonna try and hunt down F1 fan as much as he can, as we'll quickly change the interval into the lead and see if Dean is catching TB Frisco out in front. By the looks, he isn't cutting time out of the leader. Oh no, he is a little bit, but not enough. He's only cutting time out on his teammate. And again, Zach with the DRS, still using that toe for Dean. So Dean and Zach here. By the looks, Dean is giving Zach a nice DRS toe here to try and help Zach catch the front runners here, and mainly help him try catch F1 fan here, so then we can have a three-way scrap for the podium. But Harrison, you can see him in the background now. He's not in the DRS range, but he's getting closer, as Harry gets a 10-second penalty for speeding on pit exit. Not speeding on pit exit, crossing the white line on pit exit. So, after a cheeky move from Harrison, he tries doing what Harrison does, but it doesn't work out. So, Zach under pressure. He's going to be under pressure here from Harrison very shortly. But Dean's also going to be under pressure from Harrison as well very shortly. So Harrison now, right after boxing and having a really bad start now, we have now, 10 laps remaining. An F1 fan dives into the box. So F1 fan now diving into the box onto, I want to say, another set of the hard compound tyres. Does what he wants to do. But as already though, Harrison's all over the back of Zach here. So Zach under severe pressure here from Harrison. Harrison is having a slide on exit, but again, Zach's got DRS, unless Harrison's going to have the better wing here, or outbrake him. By the looks, he's forcing Zach the long way. Oh, he's going to have to he forces Zach the long way round. But by the looks, that's not going to be good. Seb Gaming goes on to the softs as well in the pit. And by the looks, Matt has boxed on to a new set of the hards as well. So, looking good here. So Zach now dropping down into P4 here. He was just P3, but he's now lost that to Harrison. So Harrison's now going to begin his charge on Dean. Through the hairpin they go, just coming off of the bridge. Harrison is now going to be attacking Dean at his max to see who is going to be able, or who's going to come out on top on this. So now, Dean, again, he's still under pressure from Harrison, so Harrison might make the move on the main straight. No, he probably will, but again, they've got to wait. Well, Harrison's got to wait, but again, Zach's just now out of the DRS. So now, for the first time, Zach is now out of the DRS, so that won't help him at all. So Zach's now going to get the work back in to try stay within DRS. He is just now trying to fight that still. But he's not got enough to continue to fight it and keep within the DRS ranges. He's now dropped back to 1.3 seconds, and he won't have the DRS now the next straight. And Dean's going to be very vulnerable now to Harrison on this next straight. So what is Dean going to do? Dean isn't going to do anything, and by the looks just simply lets him pass because he just knows he's vulnerable and can't do anything. And this Cooking Kitch gets a 3-second penalty once again. So penalties are getting very, very common around here. So we're going to check the penalties right now. Because by the looks, that's huge. So Dean, still having a chance here, just has now got to try push this to the line and hope pushing it to the line is going to be good. Speeding in the pit lane for Seb Gaming. So that's not too good. So Harry with 13 seconds worth of penalties and Seb Gaming at 25. Wow. So we've now got less than 10 laps to go here at Singapore tonight, and it's been one hectic race. And I can't wait for this race to finish so I can actually go and make something else for Dean. But Dean is obviously nowhere near, and there's no battles going on. As I say, Harry's now starting to get closer to Cooking Kitch. So can he get close to Kitch, or is Kitch going to have to try and fend off Harry here? But again, Harry's got 13 seconds worth of penalties, and Kitch has only got 3, so still 10 seconds, and that's still a lot, and could give Kitch an advantage here, unless Kitch can hold off Harry. Because there's no point of really fighting Harry here unless he's got a massive amount of penalties. So, Dean now dropping back 2 seconds to Harrison. So we're now on lap 23 of 31. Ben leading, having a nice comfortable lead out front here, now going over the bridge. He's led this for quite a long time now. So, that effort he's put in is slowly starting to come down as Harrison's beginning his charge on the fresher tyres. But by the looks, we've just missed it, but Harry dives down the inside through turn 1 and gets P7 off of Kitch. So finally, Harry having a bit of competition there, which is very nice on his end. Now finally getting ahead, and we're going to go and watch TB Frisco for a little bit, because TB Frisco still leading here. That's Charlie Kirk, we can see. Amazing stuff. Gonna quickly just check. So by the looks, TB Frisco, that gap has come down on his end, so he's got a lot of work now to do if he's going to want to try fend this off. But I mean, he might have a chance, but you can now just see Harrison in the background, and you can just see Dean as well. So the gap is coming down very quickly, and it's come down very quickly in these past couple of corners. So Ben now, he's going to have that tyre offset by about 6 laps. That's huge. By the looks, that's yellow flags though. Who's that? Oh, that's Zach. Ooh, Zach having, by the looks, a moment there. But he's still in P4, so very nice work there for him. It's Harrison now cutting the gap under 3 seconds to Ben. So, the gap's still continuing to come down now. And won't be long now until TB Frisco is going to be under pressure, and we're going to get a nice fight with the 2 championship contenders for this season. F1 fan, after having a somewhat decent first start, has obviously now dropped down to P5 due to pit stop. To a pit there. No, you know what, no, we'll give up on that sentence. So TB Frisco, his lead going from 4 seconds now to 2.2 seconds from onto lap 25 he goes. So probably now by the end of this lap, TB Frisco, he's going to be under a lot of pressure. Ooh, brushing the barrier. Oh, hitting the barrier there. Again, he doesn't want to really be doing that too much. Harrison, he's getting closer, but it's just how close is Harrison going to get? And the gap's still coming down though. You're just watching it go down bit by bit. 5 point. Oh my lord, Harry getting another 3-second penalty as well. So now, coming off of the bridge and at the hairpin now, Harrison lurks that little bit more closer to TB Frisco. So, getting closer to TB Frisco. Well, no, Harrison, getting closer to TB Frisco, I mean. Now is going to be setting his sights on the DRS very, very shortly, as they're both flashing and trying to save here. But by the looks, I don't think he's close enough yet. No, he's not. He's not going to get the DRS on this run. But by the looks, yeah, he still hasn't got the DRS on this attempt. So unless he can gain now and Ben throughout these next couple of throughout the next 4 corners now, he's got a lot of work to do. But by the looks, he's showing he's got that work as he's now gaining. But Ben gains a little bit on exit, but Harrison gaining even more on the exit. So half a second now separate these two, and TB Frisco might be safe here for 1 straight and 1 straight only. As well, looks Charlie Kirk going onto the softs there. Still nothing special though. But Harrison now putting TB Frisco under some severe pressure. He's going to be definitely trying to do what he can to fend Harrison off, but I don't think he's going to be able to fend Harrison off too much, especially with a 6-lap tyre deficit. But is it going to be a lunge from Harrison? It is going to be a lunge from Harrison at the hairpin. TB Frisco leaving him a decent amount of racing room there. Harrison has got the DRS, but TB Frisco is probably going to be burning. They're going to go side by side now to the end of the straight. TB Frisco backing off so he can get the DRS there. I do not blame him for wanting to get the DRS, but he doesn't get the DRS and Harrison has it. So now, not being able to get the DRS, TB Frisco is going to be very vulnerable now. There's only going to be 5 laps remaining when Harrison crosses that line. And he now has to stay within 6 seconds. I want to say 6 seconds. We'll have to quickly check. We'll have to do the maths. He's got to stay within 5 seconds of Harrison now to have a chance of even winning. And Dean has just got to stay within the 13 seconds of Harrison if he's going to have any chance of winning. But by the looks, Dean is on to currently be winning here at Singapore tonight. In 5 laps' time, we could see Dean taking the win here. But TB Frisco could, if he starts to extend that gap of nearly basically 4 seconds. So the front runners are doing that. There's not much fighting with much fighting we can see. So by the looks, Dean might have a bit of luck on his side and win this with penalties. Hoping he could win this, and by the looks, Dean is absolutely cooking. Come on, Dean. Dean's one of my drivers, so I'm happy. I ain't going to speak too soon, though, because Dean could make a big mistake. But by the looks now, Ben is just slowly starting to fall out. It's by the looks, 6 seconds already Harrison has formed. So by the looks, Harry gets a 3-second penalty. So Dean has to just stick within 5 more seconds of Harrison. So Dean, you might want to get going, my good sir, because you might have a good chance here of winning if you keep the pace up, but let's not jinx it. So the gap to the leader for TB Frisco, he's still close enough, but again, Dean doesn't have to stress too much as he doesn't have any penalties and is currently keeping it nice and chilled there in 3rd. Again, Dean just has to get this to the line. We've got now 4 laps to go here at Singapore tonight, and the pressure's on now. So TB Frisco, he's now losing time to Harrison because Harrison obviously did box again. By the looks, that massive 10-second penalty Harrison has got, by the looks, has ruined his race tonight. Could have won it, but by the looks, that's not happening. But Dean's catching TB Frisco. So Dean needs to see and try and do what he can, because now it all will come down to Dean winning here tonight. If Dean can continue this pace and start to gain a little bit on Harrison, stay within those 13 seconds, Dean's got a nice chance of winning here tonight. But let's not jinx it anytime soon, because Dean can still do something that could crucially mess his race up, but he's still keeping it in the lines. I'm praying that this guy can actually do something decent, as we're going to go on board with him around the hairpin. You can just see how tight the hairpin is. Not a lovely corner up this circuit, and not one of my personal favourites. But we're going to go back to the leader, as Harrison has pulled a 1 second, but Harrison's still got a lot of work to do on his shoulders if Dean is not going to take the win here tonight. As by the looks, Ben is now out of those winning 5 seconds he needed. But Ben as well. Oh, Ben is not gaining, he's losing, and he's definitely going to be under pressure by Dean in a couple of laps' time. So now 3 laps remain here. That sector as Charlie. No! By the looks, that's Charlie who's made a DNF. We'll have to check what he's done. Oh no, he's not. Oh, he's crashed there. Oh! Harry as well, having a minor moment. So Dean, still in P3, keeping it here nicely at bay. Hold on, let's count. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, Dean still within the crucial 5 seconds he needs. So Dean just needs to keep this within these 5 seconds now, and Dean can get it here tonight. And finally be a Revline race winner this season, which is going to hopefully be nice on Dean's end. But we can only tell in 3 laps' time when Dean is actually going to be crossing that line. Will we see Dean winning here tonight? I'm hoping we do. But F1 fan as well. He hasn't had too much of a bad race, and neither has Zach. So he's not too far from Dean, but again, he is kind of a bit. I know, never mind, he is a bit kind of far from Dean. But how close is TB Frisco to Dean? It's only basically 1.7 seconds, or 1.5. So Dean's really brought the gap down, and he's really trying to do what he can here on these closing stages, because every crucial 10th now counts for Harrison to see if he can win here tonight. But Dean, 1 penalty here from Dean, and he's lost the win. So Dean really needs to start being careful here, and he doesn't want to get too cocky. But I mean, he's kept it in the white lines the whole race, and might be the only driver here tonight who doesn't get a penalty for track limit violations at all, or gets a penalty at all. So hopefully now, on these closing stages, Dean can do some magical miracle to stay and get the DRS. But Dean with the DRS, but Dean's getting ever bit closer now to fighting TB Frisco on track. So as the race now starts to close up, Harrison's severely now at pressure. We're going to keep an eye on that gap, because now it all crucially matters. Dean has now literally just got to get this thing to the line, and that's all that now matters with Dean. So now, as they now reach and come across the bridge, Dean is just ever so closer now, getting closer to Ben. I don't know if he's going to have the DRS yet. No, he doesn't, but he's getting closer for the DRS. 1.2 seconds. 1.1. Their gap is starting to come down to Ben and to TB Frisco and Dean here. So, can Dean overtake Ben on track here? This will be very, very interesting if so, because that means we could get a last lap scrap here. We'll check the gap now. We're going to get a last lap scrap here. By the looks, that's F1 fan. F1 fan in the wall. Ooh, that's not too great. So Harrison now begins his last lap. But we're going to watch the fight here at the back as Ben gets another 3-second penalty. That's not good at all. So, the gap to the leader is only 9.7 to Dean. So it's only crucially cruising at home. So Dean now having an assistance with the DRS here. Can he get past Ben here on track instead of the penalties? So it all's going to come down to this now. They've completed 1 sector, they've got 2 more to go. So now, can Dean just stay close enough to Ben so he can actually make an attempted move on Ben? But he's getting that ever bit closer now. They've only got 5 tenths, 4 tenths. It's getting closer. So, Dean now getting out again, that ever bit closer. He's going to have assistance of the DRS on this next straight. He's got 2 straights now worth of DRS to the line. So, what can Dean do? Can Dean get past Ben? Or by the look, I don't know if he will. But he's gotten remotely close to Ben on this last lap. So, out of these final couple of corners now, it's been a nice push from Harrison, but it's not going to be enough for Harrison to win here tonight. But it's only going to be good enough for P2. Harrison crosses the line now, but your real race winner is going to be here, and it is Dean around the final corner now for TB Frisco indeed. TB Frisco is going to have to settle for third, but Dean wins it here tonight in Singapore, taking it here in round 6. And by the looks as well, Zach out of the final corner now is going to be taking home P4, and F1 fans going to be taking home P5. Amazing stuff there, Dean. What a miracle it's been for Dean there, winning it here tonight in Singapore. Matt now comes around the corner and wins it here. Not wins, takes P6, as we're going to see Harry. Yeah, we're going to see Harry finishing in the points here. It's going to be P7, and it's actually going to be a decent result as well. So, TB Frisco's hope of the championship. Harrison's only gained 2 points on in this race, but Harry, again, having a little moment, comes around the final corner now and wins it here. Not wins it, gets P7, not wins. Oh, Lord, I'm tired. But around the final corner, though, for Kitch. It's going to be points on debut for him. So, Dean wins it here tonight at Singapore. Come on, Dean. What an amazing race it has been. What an amazing result it's been for Dean. Absolute amazing. What an amazing result it has been for Dean, as he will finally stand on the top step of the podium. So that 10 seconds was very crucial, and in the end has given Dean the massive advantage of the win here today. So, I think it might be a week's break, I don't know. But now we've reached midway of the season and we have half the season remaining. So that's it. That's all from me this week, and we'll be back next week next week or the week after for Revline. But that's all for now. So goodbye.